The Little Silver Ship and the Little Paper Boats. One night, when Paul and Mary were fast asleep, someone came knocking at their bedroom window. Tap went the noise. Tap, tap, tap. Mary woke up first and thought it was the wind blowing a branch against the window. Then she thought it wasn't, because it did sound so exactly like someone knocking. So she woke Paul up. "Doesn't it sound like someone's outside?" she whispered. "Do you suppose it's a pixie?" "Let's look," said Paul, and he jumped out of bed to see. The moon shone brightly outside, and what do you think he saw? Standing on the windowsill was a tiny creature dressed in silver, and she was tapping with her hand on the pane. Tap, tap, tap. "It is a pixie, or an elf," cried Paul in delight. He opened the window and the tiny creature climbed in. "Oh, do forgive my waking you," she said, "but a dreadful thing has happened." "What?" cried both children. "Well, you know the stream that runs to the bottom of your garden," said the pixie. "We were going to meet the fairy queen on the opposite side tonight, because she's going to hold a meeting there, and we had our pixie ship all ready to take us across, but a big wind blew suddenly and broke the rope that tied our ship to the shore, so now we can't get across because the ship has floated away, and we are so upset." "Oh, what a pity," said Mary. "Can we help you?" "That's what I came to ask you," said the pixie. "Could you lend us a toy boat to sail across in?" "We did have one," said Paul, "but it's broken. Its sail is gone and it floats all on one side. I'm afraid it wouldn't be a bit of use to you." "Oh dear," said the pixie, looking ready to burst into tears. "Isn't that too bad? We felt quite sure you would have one. Have you anything else that would do?" "No, I'm afraid not," said Paul, trying to think of something. "We've no raft and not even a little penny rowing boat. I am sorry." "Oh, never mind," said the pixie, climbing out to the windowsill. "We shall just have to stay on this side of the stream and hope that the queen will not be too cross with us. We have no wings, you see, or we could fly across." Mary suddenly clapped her hands. "I know," she cried. "I know. What about some paper boats, Pixie? Paul and I can make nice paper boats that will float on the water. They don't last very long, but they would take you across the stream all right, I'm sure. Shall we make you some?" "Oh, will you?" asked the pixie in delight. "That is so kind of you. Thank you so much." "That's a good idea of yours, Mary," said Paul. "Quick, let's put on our dressing gowns and go down to the stream with the pixie. We can take a newspaper with us and make as many boats as they like." So they put on their dressing gowns, took an old newspaper from the cupboard, and then ran downstairs and out to the garden. The pixie met them there, and they all three went down to the little stream that ran at the foot of the garden. What a sight the two children saw! The moon shone brightly down on a crowd of little silvery creatures dressed in misty gowns. They had tiny pointed faces and little high voices like swallows twittering. They were astonished to see the children and ran helter-skelter to hide. But the pixie that came with Paul and Mary called them back. "It's quite safe," she cried. "These children are going to help us. They'll make us some boats." "A small boat will take one or two of you," said Paul. "We'll make some of all sizes, and then some of you can go in crowds and some can go in twos and threes, just as you like." He and Mary began to tear the paper into oblongs, and then very quickly they folded their paper into this shape and that, until at last there came a little paper boat. The pixies watched them in delight. They had never seen such a thing before. Paul and Mary soon put 2 boats on the water, and 2 or 3 pixies clambered in. The boat went rocking up and down on the stream, and the pixie guided it towards the opposite bank. They screamed with delight as it went, and all the pixies left on shore begged Paul and Mary to hurry up and make some more boats for them. Very soon there was a whole fleet of the little paper boats on the stream, and the pixies sprang into them in joy. Across to the opposite shore they sailed one by one, and landed safely on the opposite side. The last pixie left was the one who had tapped on the bedroom window. Mary made her a dear little boat for herself, and the pixie stepped into it. "Goodbye," she said. "Don't wait here any longer in case you catch cold. It's been so kind of you to help us. If you find our ship, you may keep it for your own. It's a dear little ship, and we'd like you to have it." The children waved goodbye and then went indoors to bed, talking excitedly of all that had happened. They thought that they were much too excited to go to sleep, but it wasn't long before they were dreaming, their heads cuddled into their pillows. The next day, they were quite certain they'd dreamt it all, and they were surprised to find they both had the same dream. But they really didn't think they could have seen pixies in the night. It didn't seem real in the morning. But what do you think they found later in the day when they went for a walk down by their stream? The little ship belonging to the pixies. There it was, caught in some rushes, a little silver-sailed ship with the name Silver Pixie on its hull. Then they knew that their dream was true, and in great delight they rushed home to show their mother what they had found. They kept the ship on the nursery mantelpiece because it's so pretty, and there it is to this day, a little glittering silver ship. It sails beautifully, and you should see all the children stare when Paul and Mary take it down to the pond to sail. I'd love to see it too, wouldn't you?